Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's update covers one of the most critical turning points in the Ukraine war as former US President Donald Trump makes it clear he will not send American troops, while the United Kingdom and France accelerate their military involvement. The question now shaking the entire geopolitical stage is this: without US boots on the ground, how will Ukraine survive? This isn't just about politics. It's about advanced weapon systems, shifting alliances, and the raw technology that decides who dominates the battlefield. In the next few minutes, we'll break down how Trump's refusal impacts NATO strategy, why Britain and France are rushing heavy weapons into the conflict, and what survival means for Ukraine in terms of drones, air defenses, and next-generation systems. Stay tuned, because the details may shock you, and the future of this war could change overnight. Trump's declaration of refusing to commit US troops changes the balance of power instantly. For decades, NATO's backbone has been American military might, carrier strike groups, heavy armor, and unmatched air dominance. Without US direct involvement, NATO partners must fill the gap. This is why the United Kingdom has already increased its military shipments, including Storm Shadow cruise missiles, Challenger 2 tanks, and advanced anti-drone systems. France, on the other hand, is pushing forward with Mirage 2000 fighter jets and training Ukrainian pilots for advanced aerial combat. But the absence of US manpower signals something larger, a shift in burden sharing. If Washington steps back, Europe must not only supply weapons but also take responsibility for frontline strategy. This could be a turning point in NATO history, forcing Britain and France to show whether a European power alone is enough to counter Russian aggression. For Ukraine, the absence of US troops means survival depends on technology more than ever. The Ukrainian battlefield is already the most drone-dominated war in modern history. From small quadcopters dropping grenades to long-range suicide drones striking deep into Russian territory. These systems have become Ukraine's lifeline. Britain now supplying advanced drone jamming equipment, while France is delivering loitering munitions capable of hovering over a battlefield for hours before striking. Without US soldiers, Ukraine's reliance on unmanned warfare grows deeper. Ukrainian engineers are rapidly innovating, creating low-cost drones with AI-assisted targeting, often built in workshops near the front lines. The fight for survival is now less about troop numbers and more about whose drones can outsmart, outlast, and outstrike the other side. With Russia also escalating drone production, the skies over Ukraine are becoming the most contested robotic battlefield the world has ever seen. Air defense remains Ukraine's #1 challenge. Without direct US military presence, Ukraine relies heavily on systems like Britain's Sky Sabre, France's SAMP-T, and the already deployed US-supplied Patriot batteries. These defenses are keeping Russian cruise missiles and hypersonic weapons at bay, but supplies are limited, and each missile costs millions. Britain is promising more interceptor deliveries, while France is negotiating with European partners to expand production of surface-to-air missiles. The technology race here is brutal. Russia fires swarms of cheap drones and missiles, forcing Ukraine to spend expensive interceptors to defend its cities. This creates a sustainability crisis. Without the sheer scale of American resupply, Ukraine must stretch every missile and innovate with layered defenses, including radar jamming, laser weapons in testing, and AI-based early warning systems. The question isn't just how to stop today's strikes. It's whether Ukraine can outlast a prolonged missile war without US frontline troops. Britain's role has now shifted from supporter to primary driver of NATO assistance. London is committing not just weapons, but also deep intelligence support, battlefield surveillance from satellites, and special forces advisors on the ground. Challenger 2 tanks are already making a difference, as they outmatch most Russian armor with superior firepower and advanced targeting systems. Britain's Storm Shadow cruise missiles, with a range of over 250 kilometers, have allowed Ukraine to strike Russian command centers far behind enemy lines. This technology is not symbolic, it's strategically crippling. By denying Russia safe zones in occupied territory, Britain ensures Ukraine can keep pushing without direct American troop support. The risk, however, is escalation. Russia views British and French involvement as direct threats, increasing the danger of widening the war. Still, London is clear without American boots. Britain is prepared to step forward as Ukraine's strongest European ally. France, often underestimated in military affairs, is now stepping into the spotlight. Paris has pledged Mirage 2000 fighter jets to Ukraine, giving Kyiv a significant upgrade in air combat capability. These jets, equipped with modern radar and precision-guided munitions, could help Ukraine contest Russian air superiority. French artillery, particularly the Caesar self-propelled howitzers, has already proven highly effective, combining mobility with rapid fire accuracy. France is also leading the European Union in establishing a long-term training program for Ukrainian pilots and engineers, ensuring sustainability in operating complex Western systems. But perhaps the most critical contribution is political. France is pushing Europe to prepare for a future where US involvement is uncertain. By supplying both heavy technology and training, Paris is positioning itself as not just a supporter, but a builder of Ukraine's future defense structure. This deeper role shows Europe's determination to carry the fight without US ground troops. Ukraine itself is not waiting passively for help. The country has become a testing ground for some of the most advanced military innovations in the world. Ukrainian engineers are building hybrid drone tank systems, small enough to evade detection but powerful enough to carry explosives against Russian fortifications. AI-powered battlefield software is being deployed to integrate satellite data, drone footage, and radar signals into one real-time map for commanders. This type of high-tech coordination was once only available to NATO forces. Now, Ukraine is pioneering it under fire. The absence of US troops has forced Ukraine to accelerate its transformation into a self-sufficient high-tech military power. Western support supplies the tools, but Ukraine's own engineers and soldiers are rewriting how wars are fought. The irony is that by refusing direct troop involvement, the US may have unintentionally pushed Ukraine into becoming the most innovative army in Europe. The question on everyone's mind is simpler. Without US troops, can Ukraine survive? The answer depends on Europe's unity and how fast advanced weapons can be delivered. Britain and France are stepping up, but supply chains are strained and Russian production lines are running day and night. Ukraine's survival rests on maintaining technological superiority from precision artillery to drone warfare. Energy infrastructure also plays a huge role. If Russia succeeds in destroying power grids during winter, Ukraine's ability to sustain military operations will be severely weakened. Western nations are racing to provide mobile power units, hardened shelters, and cyber defenses to keep Ukraine functional. This isn't just about weapons. It's about resilience. Survival in modern war is about adapting faster than the enemy, and Ukraine has already proven it can do more with less. The real battle is time. Who can endure longer, Ukraine or Russia? What does Trump's stance mean for the future of NATO itself? For decades, NATO has relied on US leadership and troops as its ultimate shield. Trump's refusal highlights a possible future where Europe must defend itself independently. Britain and France taking the lead in Ukraine may be the first test of this shift. If successful, it could mark the beginning of a new European defense era less dependent on Washington. But if Ukraine falters, it raises dangerous questions. Can NATO deter future threats without American boots on the ground? Technology and weapons may fill part of the gap, but deterrence also requires commitment and presence. This is why the Ukraine war isn't just about one country's survival. It is about the credibility of the entire Western alliance. Trump's refusal may spark the very thing NATO was designed to avoid: uncertainty within its own ranks. As the situation unfolds, the world is watching closely. Ukraine's survival now depends on advanced systems, European determination, and its own relentless innovation. Britain and France are stepping up with tanks, missiles, and jets, while Ukraine pioneers new battlefield technologies under extreme pressure. Yet the absence of US troops remains a defining factor, reshaping NATO's structure and testing Europe's ability to act as a united military force. This war has become more than a territorial conflict. It is the proving ground for modern military technology, from AI drones to hypersonic defenses, and its outcome will shape the global balance of power. Will Ukraine endure and emerge stronger, or will the lack of American boots weaken the West's defense line? The coming months will decide. Stay tuned, because what happens here won't just change Ukraine, it will redefine the future of global warfare.